Hey guys, Th3 here, welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. It's 1893 in this 8th episode of the Austria-Hungary campaign. We have quite a few British ships on the horizon here. There's 14 British ships, including a fleet of torpedo boats, against 3 of my heavy cruisers. This is going to be an interesting fight, and I think I can actually win it, and thereby reduce quite a few of the British ships. Because off-screen I have been doing battles, and they just keep generating more and more and more ships. I'm not sure where they're getting the funding, but the amount of ships that I have been seeing is pretty crazy. Especially torpedo boats, they just keep pumping those out, and yet they're few and far between, these British torpedo boats, especially the British, because they don't have that many interests in the Mediterranean. But aside from that, the Italians, of course, still continue to crank out ships. They just don't actually send them out. So I have an opportunity here to at least strike at the British. And hopefully later on we're going to see some battleship action against, well, the multitude of battleships that the Italians have. But that have just never really seemingly left port. Because I'm not sure if I ever took out a battleship. Maybe was the battleship Fortuna Italian, or was that French? But they both have one. Anyway, let's focus on the battle at hand. I'm going to first prioritize the torpedo boats. They're easier to sink, and at longer range we probably won't really hit these heavy cruisers anyway. Plus, my torpedoes are going to be the most important weapon. If these torpedo boats would come at me in single file, as they seem to do, that would be very much appreciated, because then I can start taking them out one by one. Not going to make contact with the heavy cruisers just yet. I don't want to sail right into them. Ah, here we go. Now we are outnumbered about 4, almost 5 to 1. They have 14 ships. I have 3. So I have quite a lot of work ahead of me. Oh, these heavy cruisers of the Brits are armed with torpedoes. Positioned port and starboard. So bow and stern are fair game. That's where I can fairly safely engage from. Alright. Do I have the Krems go after them? No, not yet. Alright, got the Sprightly here. She's taking quite a bit of damage. Seemingly already disengaging. I find with these torpedo boats, if you don't actually eliminate them, they have very, very good survivability. And they tend to be able to fix all of that flooding that they have going on. So this is a priority target. Even though those heavy cruisers probably have a pretty decent, a very good chance to pen me at the moment. Interestingly, these torpedo boats are not actually doing that much against my ships. They're just posturing at the moment, I guess. They're not really attacking yet. So as long as they continue to stay at range, they're really not that much of a threat. Ah, we got the Kolkata. Interesting. That is the lead ship of that class. The whole class was named after this ship. Let's take her out, considering she's the closest target and the biggest target at the moment. And the Sprightly and the Quail we'll get back to in a second. Kolkata does not have torpedoes, so I can somewhat close in. Accidentally hitting the Python. Let's put secondaries on the Fame over there. We got a pretty good overlapping fire arc here to immediately eliminate this torpedo boat. If you would hit, that is. And my economy off-screen has been doing still pretty poorly. Despite having a bunch of battleships out there, I am still blockaded. So the amount of money that I have coming in is not good. And I'm losing quite a bit of money per month. I'm thinking I'm down 6 million a month. I can sustain that for quite a while. But it's still not something that I really want to entertain for too long. Hold on, this guy's getting a bit close. Torpedo tubes on the stern. Yeah, she's definitely going to torpedo the Innsbruck. Turn you away. Oh, you got a damaged rudder. Oh, that's not helpful. Can we go for an emergency stop? We need to slow this thing down right now. Detach. You're going to take out the Fame. Don't try to avoid collisions. You're gonna take out the Python. No, I cannot slow this thing down enough. More like the opposite. I'm gonna take 2 torpedoes instead. Shit. Here I was hoping I would keep these guys at range. That is pretty much the end of the Innsbruck. And yeah, she's gonna flood out probably. Come on. Take out the Fame before she closes too much. There goes the Innsbruck. Sprightly seems to be stationary. Range 1-8, 1-3. Focus on the closest targets. Easiest to hit. Try to maintain your distance. Oh, Calcutta took some flooding, but nothing too serious. Now, these heavy cruisers of mine are far more expensive than their torpedo boats. I'm paying 1.7 million for a heavy cruiser. They're paying less than $500,000 for a torpedo boat. So I need to sink at least 4 of these things to make it worth my while. And even then, it's not really that even. Because even then, I still have the issue that they probably have a far larger naval budget, and they're not blockaded. So that makes it so that the British can very quickly regenerate their lost ships, get those things back, just build a whole bunch of new torpedo boats, and basically don't suffer any of the consequences. Come on. Fame and Panther and Racehorse and Python and Sprightly, they've all been damaged, but cycling targets too much. Ship is getting peppered with all sorts of gunfire. Switch targets. Target the Sprightly and Quail. Quail primary target. If we miss the Quail, we might accidentally hit the Sprightly. This is what I meant. You need to sink these things or they will come back from the dead, like the Racehorse did. And they will just regenerate all of that lost buoyancy. Switch the Python before she closes too much. Quail has an engine out. That's good. Okay, she's not coming any closer. The heavy cruisers continue to harass my ships, but overall have done fairly little damage. I have taken 4,000 damage, but I've done 4,700. Which, considering I'm now outnumbered 7-1, I think is a pretty good result. Oh right, these British torpedo boats only carry enough for 1 salvo. They have no reload. They got a reduced complement of torpedoes. And with that, they can only launch once. So, if they have launched their torpedoes like the Python has, they're pretty much useless. Except for their 4-inch guns, but apparently with the Quail, they don't really have enough HE shells left anyway. Maintain fire on the Quail. Taking out these heavies is going to be tricky. I have to dance around their torpedo arcs and make sure that they don't present too much of a threat. Their turning circle is fairly good, 206. At least my ships have plenty of ammunition. That's a very good thing. There we go. Quail started to flood. I still have to take out a single ship. So let's continue hitting the Quail until she goes down. And if the Calcutta wants a cut, no pun intended, she can have it. Might accidentally miss the Quail and instead hit the Calcutta, but no, no such thing. There you go, more flooding. There goes the bow of the torpedo boat. Quail's done 30% buoyancy. How much is this? 1.2 million, yeah. So if I take out a torpedo boat and a light cruiser, that would already substantially damage the British interests. Got the Bruiser coming up behind me. Target Python, please. Main guns on Calcutta. Grams has taken some damage. Some of her guns seem to have been damaged, but the ship is still functioning. And fighting as hard as she can. Focus on the Python, ignore the Bruiser, and maintain speed. 16 knots means that this torpedo boat will close. But it also means I'm more maneuverable, so long as my rudder doesn't give out. And with that, I can potentially avoid getting hit by torpedoes. Close the distance to the Calcutta and torpedo that thing. Here comes the Handy, definitely coming in for an attack run. Python doesn't have torpedoes, the Handy does. Focus your secondaries on the Handy. Gotta make sure this thing does not get close. There we go. She's been dissuaded. I got Leopard and Sprightly still in the back. All guns on the Calcutta, please. Ah, she smokes up. Not great. Okay. I would have loved to have had a battleship here. It would not have been great against the torpedo boats, although it carries a serious amount of 3-inch guns just to deal with that eventuality. But it would have been very nice to be able to sink the heavy cruisers, because they're the most expensive ships that they have, at 1.6 million. Switch fire to the Leopard, with the secondaries, that is. You are firing at, what, the bruiser? Yeah, your main guns are firing at the bruiser. A secondary strategy, if you will, that I'm trying to use is eliminating the ability of the British to run at me in great numbers. So flooding out ships or causing engine damage, such as with the Python or the Fame, means that they don't have as much coming at me at once. So divide and conquer, or in this case divide and eliminate, is what the plan is. All guns on the racehorse. Sprightly is now back as the main target for the Sankt Pölten. Although I'm concerned about the flooding that I've taken. Let's go to half speed. Come on, I need a bit more flooding here. Leopard appears to be making a run towards the Krems. Racehorse is taking more damage, but nothing critical yet. Come on. Starboard guns on the Sprightly. I'm going to sink this thing. How much ammo do the heavy cruisers have? Oh, plenty. Okay, so they're not going to give out anytime soon. Here comes the Leopard again. And once again, the Calcutta makes a run towards the heavy cruiser. Sprightly might be done for. Might be done for. Yeah, she's gone. Next target. Mains on Calcutta, secondaries on Python. Your target. Yeah, fine. The Panther's good as any. I need to take this thing out. Calcutta's turning circle is 398. She's very bad at dodging torpedoes, but she has a lot of bulkheads. So it is entirely likely that one torpedo won't be enough to sink her. Nevertheless, she's making it very interesting to launch a torpedo at her. Although that one was destined not to hit anything. Simply because of the way that the Calcutta was turning. Okay, target this one. Lord, it's just trying to keep as many British ships off of you as possible. Done 11,000 damage versus their 4,800. You need to sink this thing now. Oh, never mind. It's already launched its torpedoes. It's basically a gunboat at this stage. It's not that deadly. Nevertheless, the loss of a heavy cruiser is probably going to cost me some victory points, / gain the British some victory points. Whereas I have only sunk a few torpedo boats and haven't really done much beyond that. Here comes the Aeolus. This is a different light cruiser class. 6-inch guns and 4-inch guns, but they too have maximum bulkheads, which could be the flavor of the British ships. They're more tanky, if you will. More survivable. There goes the Python. It's another torpedo boat less. Focus on the Leopard. We have thousands and thousands of shells standing by to take out more and more torpedo boats. You're starting to flood. Leopard is starting to burn. And they're even running out of ammunition for their 4-inch guns. The Panther can still be dangerous. Gotta take out these big cats before they become a threat with their torpedoes. Although at 13 knots, I'm very maneuverable. Is that in smoke? No, it's not in smoke. Focus on the Panther, she's slower and easier to hit. Yes, that's more like it. Okay. I'm going to turn towards these torpedo boats. The Bruiser can still hurt me. The Bruiser is also a different class, by the way. They have 4 torpedoes in 2 torpedo tubes, so they have a reload. Some of these others do not. Switch fire. I want the Bruiser to be slowed down. I do not want her to rush at me. Panther, half flooded. Fire control damaged. Engines out. Ship seems to be almost dead in the water. Yeah, she's doing 11.5 knots. The Racehorse is doing even less. She's actually stopped. Come on. British numbers are starting to dwindle, but not nearly as fast as I'd hoped. Let's turn in. Bruiser is getting a little bruised. Not really as much as I wanted. There goes the Panther. Nice work. New target, Calcutta. Don't launch torpedoes at it unless I tell you to. Because I don't want to waste another torpedo. What way is she going to turn? I think she's going to do another port turn to try and evade my ship. Avoid a collision. Unless she's intentionally going for the collision, which would be very unwise. Starboard torpedo launcher, away. You cannot dodge that. Boom. That's your whole bow gone. Hold. Secondaries on the Fame. Port launcher on the Calcutta. If she needs it, though. I don't think she does. No, she does. She stopped her flooding. Don't make a run at a heavy cruiser with a light cruiser if you don't have torpedoes. I will mess you up. Calcutta is down. Ow. That was a good hit on the St. Polton. That was probably... Oh, there was a 3-inch and a 9-inch hit. Right. The Polton might not survive this encounter, but she definitely didn't go easy. Focus fire on the Fame, and then the Leopard, and then the Handy. I'm going to reduce the number of these small boats that they have. There you go. That ought to finish it. Boom! Flash fire. You already had buoyancy issues. And she's gone. Okay. Next up, Leopard. More flash fires. This thing is completely cooking off. Okay, Leopard. Since you're not really running anywhere, you're making yourself a very interesting target. I'm running a little low on high explosive shells for the 7-inch guns, but I'm not really relying on the 7-inch guns to deal damage. Because the 3-inch guns have done a lot more work than the 7s. Probably for the Polton here as well. Yeah. But their 7-inch guns have done a lot. I have done 24,000 damage against 5,500 for the British. And I definitely see opportunities to take out the Leopard, the Handy, and potentially the Aeolus as well. These heavy cruisers are going to be a challenge. Especially if I only have one heavy cruiser left. Leopard ought to be sinking. Damn it. Exposing too much flat broadside to these heavy cruisers here. The Spartiate, the Terrible, and the Good Hope. Leopard. Come on. 13% buoyancy. Polton, starboard turn. Need more secondary guns on that target. Shit, the Krem's lost her rudder. Though that's probably not a new injury. Just noticing the effects as the turning circle gets progressively worse. Come on, take out the Leopard. Take out the Leopard. You two. Focus fire on the Leopard. Oh, come on. 13%. More fire. I don't need structural damage. I just need a couple of pen hits, potentially on her bow or stern, to flood that thing out. There, that's it. That's the bow hit that I was looking for. 7% buoyancy, 4%, 2%, dead. Next. This guy over here. Main guns on the Aeolus. She, too, is operating at a really bad speed. I'm not sure why, because she has her engine. She has a bit of flooding going on, but nothing so much that it could cause the loss of all speed on that ship. I think it's a bug. No matter. I have an opportunity to sink the Aeolus, and I will. And then meanwhile, the secondaries from the Krems are still whacking the handy... where's the other torpedo boat? Where's the Bruiser? I know the Bruiser's out here somewhere. The Terrible and the Sparship are deciding that this might not be their fight. And they have turned tail. And... 1%. Done. Next. Oh, you're dead in the water, aren't you? You can do 3 knots. Shit. It's problematic. At the very least, I'll get a lot of victory points. If I can keep the heavy cruisers that have been in this battle and have survived so far alive, that's a plus. Yeah, they're turning tail. Alright, Krems, this is all down to you now. I'm thinking the Sankt Polten cannot really do that much. Switch main target. Secondary on the Aeolus. Go on. We got 62 high explosive shells left, but at this angle AP apparently is better according to the AI. I'll let him have it. A challenge that I also see is getting into range of the heavy cruiser here, the Good Hope. She can do 20 knots. 21 almost. I cannot. I can do 15 knots, which is not nearly as good as they can do. So, intercepting the heavy cruiser is going to be impossible unless it comes at me. Which it does seem to try and do. Try and angle the Sankt against the Good Hope. One thing that I have going for me is that the Good Hope is running out of main shells. Her main ammunition is running low. So it seems like she's closing in to give her 4-inch, her casemates, a bit more of an opportunity to shoot. And that'll probably be enough to inflict serious damage on the Polten, but as she tries to close the distance, she's opening herself up to the torpedo attack from the Polten over there. I'm not sure how many torpedo tubes I have left on this cruiser. Maybe all of them. We're about to find out. Let's turn the Krems around and let's double up on the Good Hope. Making sure that that heavy cruiser is going to have nowhere to turn. Okay, if you have a torpedo solution, feel free to take it. We're going to need the torpedoes. 10 damage. Very good. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's the starboard launcher. Fire. Oh, shit. I should have enabled that way earlier. And more importantly, she can do it again with her port launcher. And she most likely will. And I have a damaged rudder. This was a complete mismanagement. Torpedo away, but the ship is already turning. And we'll very easily dodge that. The only thing I can try and do is close the distance so much that the torpedoes don't have time to arm. Like that. Then try and turn back. Use either the starboard tube. I should have torpedoed the Aeolus when I had the chance. Use the starboard tube or the stern tube on the Good Hope, but that is not going to work. Focus on the Aeolus. I'm going to lose both heavy cruisers, I suppose. But I'm going to make it very costly on the British. This ship is running a little low on ammo. But fighting spirit is unbroken. I've lost almost 20% of my crew. It's costing me a little bit in the efficacy of this ship. But she's still fighting, and she can still do damage. Flooding. Oh shit, I can't turn. Oh no. I cannot turn, I cannot slow down. There's nothing I can do against that torpedo. Just hope that it misses. Yeah, there we go. But we're not done, because the heavy cruiser Terrible and Sparshit are also re-engaging. Which is going to make my life a lot more interesting in the next few minutes. We're going to sail straight at the Terrible. Of course, exposing broadside to the Good Hope. Could you please sink already? That torpedo will miss if I launch it now. Hers probably won't. Because I still have that torpedo dodging problem. Okay, my time to torp. I swear there's a torpedo away. Yeah, there. But the Terrible has far better rudder control than I do. Oh shit, there's more. There comes the Sparshit. Stern launcher against the Sparshit, please. Every other gun on the Aeolus, I need to sink at least one more ship. Preserve the honor. Torpedo away. Stern launcher. Sparshit should have no problem dodging that. She's turning to starboard hard and will dodge. Aeolus once again smoking up. I essentially have 1.5 ships still surviving this encounter. Not sure how. Terrible has her torpedo launchers reloaded. Good Hope has 1 torpedo left. Okay, I need you to do the AI magic of turning to starboard without a rudder and without engines. If you can get 1 torpedo to hit the Good Hope, it might be enough to cripple her. But I think the Good Hope will torpedo you instead. There it is. And there is nothing I can do to save these cruisers. Boom. Come on. I don't care if you think it's going to hit or not. I just need a torpedo to launch. Normal. Throw out as much firepower as you can. Polton is down to 1% buoyancy. Duct tape and a prayer is all that's keeping this cruiser afloat. And the same can be said for the Krem. She's down to 7%. Battle stations for torpedoes are 25%. So I think that's going to mean that I don't have a good reload. But the torpedo is away. And the Good Hope is not dodging. That was the last action at the Krems. And it's going to hurt the Good Hope quite a bit. Can you still torp? Please? No, because I didn't see it in time that the Terrible was making a torpedo attack. There goes the Polton. So, that was a hell of a battle against the British. They have suffered a lot of damage. And potentially... No, I didn't really get as many victory points as I would like. But I definitely made them work for it. Sinking 7 torpedo boats and 1 light cruiser. Heavily damaging a cruiser in the process. Not a bad result, considering how outnumbered I was. This is funny. The Moa T4, I think, is the only torpedo boat that I have off the coast of Western Sicily. And she keeps meeting all sorts of French encounters. So what I usually do when I don't like the encounter is withdraw. This time around, I'm not getting around to it. Yeah, I'm going to take this one off screen because I think this is going to be a butchery of the T4. But, oh well. Economy-wise, I can't quite show you because this is grayed out as we're looking into this battle. I hope you guys enjoyed that long fight with the Brits. I tried to do as best I could, but I should have done better with the torpedo launchers. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. It really helped me out with that. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon for the next episode. See you then.